There are several ways to test RSAs within Adalysis, but many of the methods follow similar steps. So we're going to look at a variety of tools you can use together to set up RSA ad tests in a few ad groups or even thousands of ad groups that can be used for both single or multi-ad group testing. Now, the first step is to go to your ad group screen. Here, we're going to make a filter. Now, first we want to make sure we're working with active ad groups. And then what we need to know is, can we make a new ad in these ad groups we want to test? So we're going to set up our filter for active ad groups, filter by the campaigns or ad groups where you want to create a test. Then add a filter, add count, find ad groups with more than 2 active RSAs. And we could even remove different ad types here, so we're only looking at RSAs. And apply. The reason we do this is you can only have 3 active RSAs in an ad group. So if you have 3 active now and try to create a fourth, it's auto-rejected. So if we happen to have more than 2, which means it's 3, then we can select all of those ad groups. We can go to Tools and we can pause ads. Now here we can choose to pause down to leave 1 or 2 ads enabled in each ad group. And then we could pause the lowest conversion rate or whatever metric you want to. And if you have ETAs or old legacy ads running, you could also skip those in the bulk pause tool. And so the option really is, do you want to leave just 1 ad left in the ad group, which is going to be our base ad? If so, then even for your ad counts, you might want to use 1 instead of 2 if you're going to pause down to 1. If you're going to pause down to 2, then we'll leave it as leave 2 ads and go ahead and pause the selected ads. And this will make it so you only have 1 or 2 active RSAs per ad group. Now, at this point in time, you have 2 options for the next step, and they're both going to be duplicating ads. So if you pause down to 2 ads per ad group, then our next step is to select those same ad groups where we just pause down ads where you want to test, is to go up to Tools, under Create Ads. We're going to use the Copy RSA function. So then you're going to choose, if you have multiple RSAs per ad group, how are you going to copy them? Highest conversion rate, highest CTR, what gets selected. And then it's very useful to add a label. In addition, you can keep the same pinning. So then if we chose our label we're going to use, we keep the same pinning, we'll proceed, and we'll now have a copy of that exact same RSA based on our metrics with a label to it. Now, my preferred method is usually to go to ad count is only 1 and pause down to 1. Then we go to ads. Again, we do the same filters. We want to say active ads. We want to filter our campaigns and ad groups to where we want to do this test. And this is going to be the existing ads you have active. So we'll select those. We will add a label to those ads. And this way we know what the ads are we're initially testing. Then we can use Tools, Manage Ads, and again make a copy. And the same option, right? We're going to add a different label to this different set, and we can keep the same pinning. So in this second case, we have 2 ads per ad group that are currently identical, the difference being the ad label. So now that we have this initial part set up, we need to manipulate the ad text itself. So then if we go to our RSA manager, we can filter by our ad labels. So this lets us very easily start to delete any headlines we don't want to use from those RSAs. We can go ahead and edit and add everywhere it exists. We can change the pinning. So for instance, if you want to test what if my headline 2s contain a call to action versus they contain a unique selling proposition, right? We'd have one ad label based on the CTA. We would edit those headline 2s and pin those headline 2s so that all 1 to 3 of them have calls to action. It is fine to have 3 different assets pinned to a headline, and you're sort of testing that concept. Then we would switch our ad label to the other one, and then we would pin our USPs to that position too. Another common test is to have headlined ones with brand, and another set without brand, looking at non-branded ad groups to see does our brand actually help our overall data. Now, once we've made those adjustments, if you realize you don't have enough assets in those ads, or you need to bulk add a new asset, we can go back to our text ads. We can filter again by our ad labels we want to test, select those lines, and use the tool, manage ads, and add RSA assets. Here we could add a new asset and even pin it to all these ads at once. So now we have two different ads with different setups. It could be pinning setups, could be different conceptual setups, etc., across all our ad groups. So because we have two or more ads in an ad group, Adalysis will automatically start ad testing. So then you'll just see those test results in your usual single ad group text ad testing as they reach statistical significance. Now, the other advantage of this setup with labels is if we go to our multi-ad group testing under labels, then we also can look at the aggregate data by label. So if we're conceptually testing CTAs versus USPs or brand versus non-branded ads, then we could say, where are we running this test? And then show me the aggregate data of ad 1 versus ad 2. By default, we use a common date range, meaning all the ads compete at the same time frame. Because this is demo data, I'm going to expand the time frame. And then what we would see is here is our ad label 1 versus our ad label 2, the scope of what it's been testing, which should be even since you set up this test. And then you can start to pull insights of when we use concept A, we have better click-through rates, or concept B is better conversion rates. And this will really let you get insights into those ads. Now, if you need more testing ideas, if you go to our blog, we have some good blog posts on how to test responsive RSAs, which will go through various options. If you want to really get into data, we've recorded an entire SMX session on how you can really test ads and how ad shrink depending and so forth works in this entire process. But by combining the tools where we go to our ad groups to pause down ads to ensure we can create more, and then using the bulk creation tools, whether it's via ad groups or ads, and using those labels to see the differences between these copies, and then our RSA manager, then we can easily use our ad testing data to be able to understand the difference between these different concepts. So the setup will easily allow you to create your ad tests and pull insights from your ad data to ensure you have the best ads running in all of your ad groups.